Man, you're always complaining about
What,
stuff.
from the very beginning?
Yeah.
Even before the intro?
Yes, we're recording
God.
now.
You know, this is a retake. We're
Yeah.
live. We're live at the Thunder Rally pits. And the whole problem is that we're doing this for the first time face-to-face, and Keenan has a new toy. And I know now for sure that he doesn't know what all those lights and buttons do.
Of course I do, because this button means that. Watch.
Well, now you know.
Of course. Watch.
Nitro is the glory.
Okay.
Welcome
Got that
to
intro
the
rolling.
No Name RC podcast with your host tonight, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC podcast with no name but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 45 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great. And, yeah, we're live from Thunder Alley, kind of. Building the RCGP track. Joseph's been digging holes, getting everything perfect.
I'm trying to decide if you're more like Joe Rogan or Steve Mathis.
Well, right now, you didn't really do a good job of digging holes today. It took you an entire day to dig 4 holes.
I did a lot more than digging holes.
Yeah, you painted some bricks too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he downloaded a level app to his iPhone so he could
Spirit
get
level.
every sign within a millimeter straight. If it wasn't level, he would dig another hole. Like, this guy is incredible.
I know, because it would piss me off the whole weekend.
Then you know what?
You know, in the Philippines, the banner on the driver's stand fell off, but I didn't notice because we didn't marshal, and I only saw it in the videos after the race, and to this day, it bugs me.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, but I did.
No, you have issues.
I know.
Anyway, guys, we are tuning in live from Thunder Alley. Thank you for opening up a beer and not giving me one. We've been busy at the track here. Things are looking good. Track's looking pretty badass. And don't hand me a vitamin water. I like a beer, please. Thank you. Track's looking good. Andrew Trotter's putting in a lot of hard work. Even Joseph, Max.
He did tell me to fuck off once.
Well,
Kind of.
most people, when they first meet you, tell you to fuck off. So.
You should have him on the podcast.
All right, can I just please, introduce our sponsors and stuff like that?
Yeah, sorry.
Please, before we get into conversation. So, joining us this week on the
Hey,
podcast.
by the way, with all your buttons, I'm just making sure. Are you recording this?
Yes, of course.
Okay, good.
Want to disturb me again?
No, all you.
Yeah. So, as you guys know, I've been on the road for the last, 10 days? Traveling. I didn't release a podcast last week, but I did pre-record a podcast with Matt Wolter, the team manager from Techno. So that's who will be the Euro RC main interview this week. And just been busy. Got this new equipment I'm super, super chuffed about. It's pretty cool. I know a few people have seen it in the pictures, and I want to say thank you to Joseph for trying to surprise me and getting it. But he ordered me a faulty unit, and I had to send it back.
Okay, wait. It wasn't faulty. You put the power cable in. You forced it in.
No.
Like usual.
I showed you how the power cable went so easily. It didn't happen at the same time. Max is my proof of that.
Yeah, because you were so excited with your new toy.
Yeah.
You just shoved it in there.
Right. Whatever.
You know?
Anyway, before we go on any further, guys, I want to say thank you to all the No Name RC podcast listeners, all the people that's been tuning into the Janky JQ USA tour. Me and Mike Hill finally made it across. Mike Hill and I finally made it across America. We almost didn't make it, but that's a story for later on. But thank you to all you guys. I know you guys are going to be tuning into RCGP this week. It's going to be badass. It's been a fun time here in California so far. I love Cali. You know what? We're outside in the pits, so you hear ambient noise like cars going across and everything. So we're not in a studio. I don't know what that was. Was that a bike?
That was a car.
Oh. All right. So before I go on any further, I'd like to say thank you to our sponsors. First off, the RCMX Online, Euro RC, Just RC, No Bullshit, BK Servos, Assault RC, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic. I'm getting that every time I say it. I'm getting that name down better and better. 454 RC Works. You know what? I need to know these sponsors off my heart.
Yeah. Why don't you check your list?
I know. It's been so long since I did this.
Beach RC.
I haven't done it in a week, and
Assault
I forgot all about
RC.
it. I said Assault RC.
JQ
Beach RC,
Racing,
Techno
Rant.
RC for the Grassroots Racer Spotlight. There is no Techno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight this week.
Do we have a rant?
Yeah, we have a rant. I don't know what we're going to rant. Can I finish?
Sorry.
I'm going to start all over again. Thank you.
No, you already said them. Let's just get on with it.
Thank you to all of our sponsors. Without you guys, we can't do this. And no thank you to JQ Racing.
Okay, I can live with that. Let's move on.
So what's up, Joseph? We've been kind of busy, so I haven't really been keeping up with news in RC. But something surfaced lately that I would like to talk about before we go in any further. And that's about, we kind of heard about it at the Worlds a few weeks ago. But now it seems more and more that it's confirmed about Yokomo. So what do you want to talk about that briefly?
Oh, yeah. So Yokomo going kind of like Kyosho. So I guess they had some financial issues of some sort. But when a company is that size and established, especially in Japan, I guess, they don't want to just let the brand die, the company die. So I think a group of investors invested in Yokomo. And I don't know at all what their plans are, but looks like they're, first of all, cutting expenses. No more Masami or his dad at Yokomo. A while ago, Ronald Velker's mechanic who worked at Yokomo quit or was fired. I don't know which one. And I would think that next year, there's no way they keep both Ryan Cavallari and Ryan Mayfield.
It will be difficult.
If they are saving money and trying to lower their expenses, then I can't see them keeping both. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, what would Cav do? Go straight to S-Works and run S-Works?
I don't know. I mean, I would assume that if one of them goes, then it's Cavallari. I mean, Mayfield won 2 Worlds for them, and he's been having the better results anyway, so I'm sure they would keep him over Cavallari. So if Cavallari is out, then I really wonder where he goes, because there aren't that many options for him.
Well, S-Works has their 10-scale program, so maybe he can just fit in right there.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. It's interesting times in RC.
Yeah, or maybe the Serpent deal, which was rumored.
Yeah.
Maybe something comes of that.
Well,
Serpent has all the cars.
Yeah, but we also heard that.
Yeah, they would need to reply to emails.
Yeah, and he would probably have to race on road as well.
Yeah, which I don't know that he wants to do.
I mean, he does. He's really good. He does the nationals here in electric and stuff. But Serpent's bread and butter is on road, especially 8 scale and whatnot. So it's interesting. That's about all the news I have. I did also see that you remember the Parrish family. They had a race for Tyler because he's still in his bedridden, but he was in hospice, but he's out now. So they had a nice race for him. He wasn't there. Jared Tebow was there. It's a good gesture. It's good to see RC people get together and do something good for each other, like we should be doing. So. Big shout out to Mark Parrish, Tyler Parrish, Trevor Parrish, and Tebow and all the people that made that happen. It was some good positive vibes. Any other news you got, Joseph? I mean, we're just excited. We've been so busy with this RC ball. You have, but everybody's busy with the RCGP stuff. Salty Joe just made it in her. JB and Heather made it. Mike and I has been traveling for a week. I'm sure he's tired of hearing me snore. And oh man, we almost didn't make it out of the Carolinas before we almost ate the back of a 18-wheeler, man.
Oh, you haven't told me about that.
Oh, man. So we was about an hour into our journey, and we was coming down a hill, and 2 semis hit maybe about 100 feet, maybe 150 feet in front of us. They hit, like not a violent hit, but enough, so stop traffic. And so the car right behind them jammed brakes, and we was coming down the hill at about 50 miles an hour. And Mike goes, "Hold on, Lefty." And that janky van, there's brakes. They ain't the best. And she's loaded on. So it's just heavy. So he was like pumping the brakes. And I was like, oh, okay. My sphincter was pulsating. I was like, what? I was like, oh man, what are we going to do? So it was a little bit of space between the car and the guardrail and the shoulder, and he just kind of pump, brake, slid a little bit, and just guided it in there like a glove. And like we slid past the lady, and like literally it was about 2.5 feet from the back of the 18-wheeler, and I was just like, and Mike goes, "All right, let's get out of here." And we back out. It was close. That's the closest it's been in that van.
Yeah, thank God the van's okay.
Yeah,
I can't afford to get another one.
Yeah, you need to get that thing checked up. Brakes and squeaks all over the place. Brakes, definitely.
And when I go to China, I'll leave it at the mechanics.
Yeah, so, on our way here, we guys stopped at this thing called Knowles in the Falls, which is this big RC aviation fly-in. Man. So Mike used to fly there, and it was just in South Carolina. It's this big event. We got there Friday. It's a week-long event. Just going here and seeing these people set up made me realize how small surface RC is compared to the aviation side of RC. Dude, there was people pulling in them big RVs, like proper RVs, like tour buses, towing trailers just as long and as high. And Mike was like, man, it's going to be thousands of people here. And it's a week-long event. People just go up and fly. Anybody in the aviation industry comes. There's like a vendor's row. There was a gourmet restaurant there. It's a big, giant facility. Like acres, hundreds of acres just dedicated to flying fields. And they charged us $15 to go down there, and there was nothing there. But you can see the magnitude. It's like, yeah, man, all this is going to be full of campers and RVs. People's going to be camping out in tents. It's going to just be, we are really got a long way to go to get to that level. The aviation side of RC is so big.
They have helicopters too?
Everything. Drones, helicopters, everything. Michael used to compete. It's not really a competition, but just fly in and they put on different demonstrations and all that type of stuff. I think they might have some competition, but it's called Knowles in the Fall. They have 2 events yearly, and it attracts people from all around the world. It's pretty impressive. So, good stuff.
Cool story, bro.
No, I'm just trying to say that, you know what?
What?
You know what?
Don't you have a good sound drop? Let's try out the sound drop.
You know what? I don't have a good sound drop because I couldn't get them loaded on her yet.
No?
All right? So, he's got all these new toys now, so he wants to try and play with them. I have one sound drop. Hold on. Oh, hold on. That didn't work. Let me try again.
Are you still recording now?
Of course I'm recording.
Okay.
Nitro is the glory, right, Keenan?
There we go. There's one sound drop.
Almost.
Let's do it
Didn't
again.
hear the end. It was kind of... Turn up the volume.
Yeah, here we go.
Nitro is the glory, right, Keenan?
Yeah.
You cut it too soon.
No, I didn't cut it. Someone else done that for me.
Oh, my
I
God. Who did that? Really?
I can't remember. Here's another one.
Euro RC. Just RC. No bullshit. No bullshit.
Sorry, we're just playing with the new toys because the new mixer's got like a soundboard on it and all that type of stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, next week we'll have good sound drops, right?
Yeah. So, we stopped in Albuquerque. We took our time coming across America this time. We didn't rush over here because we, kind of enjoyed it. Stopped in Albuquerque to see Jeff and Mike Amos and all the JQ Racing guys over there because, man, they have just bought I don't know if they bought it, but they kind of running a new facility over there. It's an indoor carpet track, on-road carpet track, nice pits, on-site hobby shop, and an outdoor clay 10-scale track. And I actually got to race for the first time in a long time. So Mike Norris, third row janky, he bought his short course truck, and Jeff let Mike run his 2-wheel drive buggy, and we had a blast, man. It was fun, and we stayed with Mike and Shannon, and they treated us good, and we all sat off. Jimmy came by, everybody came by. We had a good night. So I want to say thank you to the JQ Racing New Mexico crew. We had a blast. We appreciate your hospitality, and if you guys in Albuquerque, please go check out RC Riot. It's worth it. They're gonna, nice facility. It's gonna get even better.
What?
Thank you for blowing your nose.
You're welcome.
Yeah. This guy has very poor etiquette. Very poor etiquette.
Can we move on? Can we get to some questions?
All right, yeah. Let's get to some questions.
In story time with Keenan.
Let's get to some
Busy.
questions.
Got banners to hang.
Yeah. Banners look pretty good. Banners look good. Questions. Let's do it.
When is this podcast going up?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so track reveal after this podcast.
Yeah, the track reveal will be awesome. This track, you can't relax at all. It's going to be a lot of jumping, a lot of rhythm, a lot of timing. It's going to be interesting. Very interesting to see. I'm glad I don't have to turn marshal it.
I'm glad you're not racing it.
Yeah, me too. Then I'd have to turn marshal it. All right. So I posted today for some questions. A lot of people responded. I thought we got quite a few questions. So let's just answer this one, because this is the elephant in the room, and this is one of the first questions, and it comes from the Jean Painter. He says,
the Bermudian bastard. What is he by? He was supposed to come.
Yeah, he said he's going to come DNC instead. He couldn't get the time.
He goes to DNC over this? That's it. We're done.
He says, what happened to the future world champ CJ Jellin and RCGP?
I think A-Main happened. He's sponsored by A-Main, so he can't race for a competing hobby shop, basically, web shop. Because the wildcard team is sponsored by Beach RC, so he would have to wear a Beach RC shirt, but he's sponsored by A-Main, so I guess they hadn't cleared it with A-Main when they agreed.
Yeah, it's a shame. It would have been great for NorCal, but they have some good representation as well. Heard some fast young guys, but yeah, A-Main would have let them race.
Yeah,
I understand to an extent.
I understand. I get it, but yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Joe Zaire says, "Oh man, I hope you're not all on that at one time. What are some?" He says, he has one question. He says, "What are some realistic innovations that we might see with nitro motors?"
Nitro, I don't know. You have to ask someone who knows nitro motors.
You should ask Adrian Bertine.
Yeah.
He'll be here in a few days.
You should do a podcast with him.
I am. I'm planning on doing that. Hopefully, while he's here.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but maybe when he gets home to get an in-depth one.
Oh, here.
We'll see.
Just grab him here.
Colin Branch, who will be coming on here on Thursday. Why don't 10 scale cars have droop screws? FFS.
Some have had. Durango had droop screws. Is there another car or just Durango? With that?
Max, would you like to come
Techno also has,
record with
apparently.
us?
Techno 4-wheel, I guess, has droop screws. Yeah, I think all cars should have droop screws. It's ridiculous. Oh, I'm going to change my droop. I'm just going to disassemble my whole shock, take the piston and shaft out, put some shims under there, rebuild my shock, and then, I needed to adjust it a bit. That's so stupid.
It's a good way to sell shock oil.
Yeah.
Good way.
Screw in the low end, unscrew it, and you
Yeah.
have to put shims in when you can't get it. It's
Frankie
bullshit.
Barbrecki. I'm sure
I guess that's not really his name.
Yeah.
That's how you say it.
Yeah. He says, add to that, could there be...
Just say Frank B.
Well, he drives JQ too.
Isn't this the guy who had a JQ and we didn't have to. We felt sorry for him, basically, and sent him a bunch of parts. I don't know if he ran a car. He was breaking an engine or tuning an engine or something and got it run over. Is this the same guy?
He had a runaway. He was tuning the engine and it was in the street.
Yeah.
And it ran away and then it got run over by a car. I felt so bad. I said, man. And
Didn't he send pictures too? Like it really happened.
Yeah.
And we sent him a bunch of
He's a good guy. He's
It's
up
funny.
there repping, up there in the Northeast. Great guy.
Yeah.
He wants to know, will there be any, do you think we'll get the technology in nitro motors will be to the advance where you see 4 strokes in...
There used to be 4 strokes before. Kyosho had some, I think.
I remember seeing a Associated GT with a 4-stroke.
I don't think they make enough power at that size.
Mm-hmm. Well, you'd have to make a bigger displacement, but then it would be heavier.
Yeah.
So, good stuff. John Jennings, you was just on his podcast. It should be released this week from the Voice RC podcast.
Yeah, and it's a good one.
Yeah.
We talk about America. America.
Your favorite subject.
Yeah.
But you love it, her, because as soon as you got off the plane, he was like,
bless America, land of the free. I like it.
What did you say when I picked you up? He goes, I feel like I've come home.
Yeah, you shouldn't have brought that up. I probably shouldn't say it on here. But yeah, because I missed last winter, and now when I arrived, LAX waited for you to pick me up. I was like, I had this feeling of arriving home. That's crazy.
FYI, people, Joseph made me pick him up in 6 o'clock traffic. His flight landed at 5 and wanted me to come pick him up. The last time I flew into LAX, he told me make it on my own. And when Mike Hill came in, Mike Hill never been to California. He made him catch a shuttle for 3 hours. But he said, you know what he said to me? If you don't pick me up, you will regret it. And that kind of scared me.
You know what I would have done? You wouldn't have all those lights and buttons in front of you. Yeah.
Then we would have been
Then you
recording this
really would have
podcast.
regretted it.
Yeah, so see what he is trying to threaten me and hold things over my head.
Yeah.
He's an evil person.
Yeah, because that's the only way to get through to you, really.
Anyway, John Jennings wants to know, when am I and JQ announcing you're coming to Toys for Tots in Alabama with a clinic on Friday? He wants us to come to
When is it?
Alabama. It's the same weekend as INS.
When is that?
After Fall Brawl.
Oh, then I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably not.
You'll be on that side, but I don't know if you'll make it to Alabama.
Yeah.
Chris Trudeau, do you think pros, the ones actually being paid, not contingency dollars, like not just contingency, but
Yes.
actual salary drivers, still enjoy the fun of RC, or is the pressure of the job? Does the pressure of the job overshadow their ability to have fun? And Ryan Lotz responded, he goes, "Yes, I love driving my RC cars." What do you think?
Yeah, I think they enjoy it. I think some maybe get a bit bored with the traveling and all the wrenching and that stuff, but mostly I think all the pros enjoy racing. Let's face it, they don't really work very hard. This isn't something where it's like 24/7 unless you want it to be. So I don't know. It's kind of an easy job if you're good and you don't put in the effort. It's easy. Then you can decide how much effort you want to put in. RC isn't at that level where it's like dedicate your life to it kind of stuff. It really isn't for the good guys, you know?
Oh, Spencer Rifkin's kind of dedicated his life to it, and he's getting results.
Yeah, but still, like, what's he doing on a Monday morning?
I get that part.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. Like what
yeah.
can you do? What, go train your fingers?
I don't know. I guess, like, what would you do? Like, if this was really a professional sport, then
I think
people would be doing, like, all kinds of hand-eye coordination
It's gotta be
things
some exercises out there to
and
prove
reflex training. They do that in motocross, too. Like,
Yeah.
wall with lights coming on and you're, like, smashing the buttons when the lights come on. Like, all kinds of crazy things like this. Like, bouncing balls. Bouncing balls. Hey, we need a sound drop of that. That's one sound drop you should get. Savoya loves balls.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like his joke he made about you on
What's that?
Facebook. He says, took a picture of a plane that had JQ written on the front. I don't know what type of plane has JQ written on the front. And
The Yankee one.
he goes, everywhere I go, this guy follows me or something like that.
Yeah.
You and Savoya got along good. All right, let's go through these questions. Here's a good question. Rick McCrary of the Top 25. What would the RCGP format look like if, and hopefully when more manufacturers join RCGP? Because it would be more than one heat. How would the heads-up qualifying work?
There won't be more than one heat. Initially, the idea was that there would be more than one heat. And now the way we do it is we shuffle the top half of the field. So when you win, you start 7th. When you finish 7th, you start 1st. So if there had been multiple heats, you would drop four slowest guys down to the slower heat and bump the 4 fastest from the slower heat up to the faster heat. Mm-hmm. But there's only, for now at least, there's only going to be one heat of RCGP because just like in Formula 1 or MotoGP, there's only one heat for a reason. You want to give the teams and the drivers and the manufacturers in the series all the exposure they can get. Make it worthwhile for them. So you can't have 2 heats or more because then you're spreading yourself too thin. You can't give the value back to the manufacturers. So for now, it's only going to be one heat.
Okay. Shane Gagnon. Rupert, Do you seal your motors? If so, what product do you use? And will you do a video, please?
Do I do what?
Do you seal your motors?
What's all this with engine questions?
I don't know.
No, not really. I don't seal them.
Yeah, I don't seal them. Well, I haven't sealed one since an hour. Okay, Jeremy Pickett. In your opinion, what are the top 3 things that cause people to get burnt out on the hobby and ultimately quit? What can we do to help stop burning out effect on the hobby in the hobby?
First of all, I don't know how you can get burnt out on your hobby. If it's your hobby, I think by definition you shouldn't really get burnt out. Like, if you do it too much, you take a bit of a break and then you get back at it. I don't know. Like, if you're doing it seriously and you're trying to turn it into a career or get sponsors or get paid, or you have a goal you want to achieve, you'll get burnt out because you're doing it so much. So, I don't know. For me, if I think about myself, like, what burns me out? Traveling too much. That gets old. I don't like flying. I don't like traveling. I like being in different places, but not the traveling bit. So that's definitely one thing. Something else, I get burnt out on the wrenching, and also on when my stuff isn't right. Like, everything's worn out, engine's not running right, and I can't do the best on the track because my equipment isn't up to par. So, those things, basically.
All right. And I think people get burnt out because they expect to be better than what they are and don't put in and aren't realistic about of their abilities.
Yeah, like they don't get the results they expect.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I'm doing this setup and I'm putting this on and I'm doing this, and they only focus on what they're doing and what they aren't doing.
Yeah.
Steve Warrington, thoughts on the S-Works buggy?
I don't know, looks good. I haven't run it, actually. Elliot's doing really well.
And Canas, he won buggy last.
Yeah, Canas switched from Mugen, doing well. Elliot switched from Kyosho, doing well.
Is Canas like another? Are we seeing a changing of the guard with Canas and Battier?
Yeah, looks like it.
I think
Finally,
so. We was kind of like, we didn't think that was going to happen.
No, we didn't. We were kind of wrong about that.
Yeah, we've been wrong a lot.
Not really.
So listen,
I think
one thing, you'll never admit when you're wrong.
maybe if we've been wrong a lot, then I think you've been wrong a lot, and I've maybe been wrong a couple of times.
Oh gosh. Okay. Pitted RC. I guess this is Pit DRC. When it comes to speedo and transmitter setups, where are you focusing and why? I guess he's talking about like with ESCs, but you don't even program your ESCs.
Yeah, I don't really. LRP has lights, and I don't know what they mean.
Yeah, it's difficult to ask Joseph about e-buggy questions because he doesn't really know.
Yeah, the lights blink. A bit like your board, actually. Like, as confused as you are about what those buttons do and the red and green and blue lights, that's kind of how I am with the speedo, too.
But I know what these lights are doing.
Okay. As long as you know what the record light does.
Okay. Yao Mello. If budget was not a problem, which driver would you sign to race your car and why? No, you haven't asked that question for a while. Who would it be?
Always ask that question. Okay. It would be... Keenan K. White.
Can we be serious? Who would it be?
Ryan Mayfield.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he hasn't won the Worlds yet, so I just work with him. He'd win the Worlds. And
You
then...
wanted Lutz at first.
Yeah, but I changed it now.
Okay. All right. You're entitled to change your mind.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's take a couple more questions and then we will move on. Kenneth Pope, he goes, will Adderall help you racing? Hashtag bang bang.
Will what?
Adderall help you with racing?
Adderall?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never tried it.
I think it would. It helps you focus.
Yeah.
There's been
James Stewart tried it.
Yeah. That's why he's not racing anymore. He got busted for it.
Yeah. But it only worked for like 10 minutes with him. Then he'd crash.
Clint White, why didn't gas engines really make it?
I don't know. Lack of power.
Petrol engine.
Maybe something else. I don't know.
I think it comes down to...
Ask TLR.
They tried it.
They tried.
I think it comes down to displacement and weight at the end of the day. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see. We got a question about bone plunge.
Not again. We've done this so many times.
I know.
Just go back and listen to that.
He says, how does dog bone angle affect grip?
Stiffens up the car on power.
He says, I raised my diff in my two-wheel drive. I said that, and he increased grip.
Yeah, because it stiffens up the car on power. So more of the, when you accelerate, that basically, instead of the suspension compressing and the spring absorbing some of the available force, absorbing some of the energy, there's more force pushing the tire into the ground. So instead of the suspension compressing and the spring absorbing energy, it goes towards pushing the tire into the ground. So it grips more and you have more acceleration. So that's kind of why that happens.
All right. Donnie Baker, he says, what does pack on shock setup do? Why and when should you adjust pack, and what are the ups and downs of it?
Good. That's going to be our Assault RC.
Is it? All right. Let's go to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment.
What, right now?
You are now locked in to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. Check out AssaultRC.com for the latest products for all your performance RC needs. Featuring the best lubes and specialty tools on the market. Use promo code LEFTY19 at checkout for 10% off your entire order at AssaultRC.com.
Welcome to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. This is the part of the podcast dedicated to your setup questions. This week's question comes from Donnie Baker. And he wants to know, what does pack on shock setup do? Why and when you should adjust pack? And what are the ups and downs of using it? Go ahead, Rupert.
What an easy question.
Please don't make this 3 words.
I was just going to say the short version.
No, just explain it.
Pack. When we say pack, we are describing the effect of when a shock absorber locks up. Basically locks up. So normally when the piston moves through the oil inside the shock body, the oil flows through the holes. Some of the oil flows past the piston between the body, and that's how the piston moves up, the shaft moves in the body. When that starts happening at a higher speed, the oil has a harder time of making it through the holes, and when the speed is increased enough, there's not enough force to get the oil fast enough through the holes, and the shocks lock up. So at low speed, you can easily move the shock shaft in and out. But when the speed increases, it gets harder to move in and out, and it could even lock up, like it doesn't move all the way in, it stops. And that effect we call pack. So you notice this when you land off jumps, or when you, let's say you're going down the front straight and you hit a bump. Whenever the shocks have to work at a high speed, that's when pack comes into question, or comes into effect. So you adjust it by changing the amount and size of holes. So the bigger the holes are in the piston, the less pack you have. The smaller the holes are, the more pack you have. So typically, if you have bigger holes, the car won't land as well. The chassis might slap when you land. Smaller holes, you have more pack, so it lands better. The chassis doesn't slap as much. Then those high-speed sections, high-speed bumpy sections, too much pack typically makes it bad in those. So maybe the rear end of the car wants to bounce up in bumps. Maybe if you go to a bigger hole piston, it will absorb those high-speed bumps and it won't bounce up. So it's sort of a compromise setting. You need to try different settings to where it works on jumps, works on landings, works on low speed bumps, high speed bumps. So, yeah.
Good stuff. Is that all you have to talk about it with Pack?
Well, if you want some more, I can say that when you have bigger holes in the piston, you have more traction low speed, and it goes through the low speed bumps better. But the reason you can't do that is because you need Pack for the higher speed sections and for jumps. So it's a give and take. It's a compromise.
Got you. All right, Donnie. Well, thank you for your question. It's greatly appreciated. Remember, everybody, go to www.assaultrc.com. Use the promo code Lefty19, and you will get 10% off your order. All right, Joseph, I'm going to call you back for the rant.
Cool. Now save this thing. Do you know how to save it with all these lights and all that? Everything's going on?
Yes.
Have you practiced this? Have you tested this?
Of course I've practiced.
Do you know what an average RC person thinks about every 3 seconds? RC cars, of course. But who can blame us? We're excited about the good stuff, the cars that endure those long safaris, and the parts that make you that 0.1 seconds faster on the racetrack. Those moments to ourselves when we close the door to the outside world just to hear that high-pitched racing beast even louder. So this is for us, from racer to racer. Euro RC, just RC, no bullshit. Please go to www.eurorc.com. Use promo code Nnrc to save you some money on your orders.
So joining us on this episode is probably one of the hardest working behind the scenes guys in RC. You see him at most big 8-scale races that I've gone to. I've gotten to know him in the last few months. We've talked when we got into races. Is Matt Wolter, and he's from. What is your exact position at Techno, Matt?
Well, I am the marketing and team manager at Techno.
Okay, so he is the marketing and team manager at Techno RC, based out of San Diego. And if you haven't seen Matt, he's probably always the guy pitting either Jared Tebow or in the past Ryan Lotz and Joe Bornhorst, and making sure everything's going smoothly for Team Techno at these big races. So welcome to the No Name RC podcast.
Thanks, Keenan. Glad to be here.
How you doing?
Oh, doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Just trying to stay cool. It's been hot here in San Diego, so just trying to relax.
Yeah, and you're a busy man. So he was at SONATS a few weeks ago in Louisiana, which was a great race.
Yeah, that was awesome. That's always a good one.
Yeah.
I like how they cap the race, and just the event, the atmosphere, the track. I mean, the guys do a great job there. It's always on our list. That
dude who builds that track, he does a great job, man. That track, even this year, was so good. I was watching some video of the 6-pack, and they always do. They make the best crossovers I've seen, because they had one last year and they had one this year, and it's really good. I enjoy it, and hopefully we get to go back there next year. So we'll see.
Yeah. The crossover there was pretty good, but that 6-pack was killer, man.
Oh, I know. So
I marshaled next to it a couple of times and just like, oh, jeez, these guys make it through here.
So you're home and you probably got a weekend or two off, so you're chilling out. You said you're chilling out at home, working from home, so that's good. Well, let's start off with early beginnings, man. How did you get started in RC?
Well, probably like most, I think my first RC was a Radio Shack. I forget what they called it, but little cheapo thing. Made a little track in my backyard, and my brother got one, so we were just messing around and kind of racing in the leaves and stuff in the backyard, and just had a good time with it. And then a neighbor moved in that had an RC10, and just got enamored with it. Saw everything, like how the receiver and servos and everything was separate, and it just looked like so much more fun. And finally talked my parents into one of those, and kind of went from there. Got on just the somewhat local racing scene. I lived in Central California, little town called Paso Robles, which is almost directly between San Francisco and LA. And the closest track we had when I first started was, probably 60 miles away. It's a little track called Hobby Crafters in Oceano. It was an awesome place, indoor clay when that really wasn't too popular. They were kind of ahead of the scenes back then. But unfortunately, those guys, he decided to change occupations or something, and so that left. So then we had to drive to Bakersfield or down to Pomona to a ranch pit shop, or so we, it was kind of difficult for us. The closest track we had was like 100 miles away. So that kind of put a dampener, and by the time I got into high school, other interests, and Dad didn't have enough time to drive to these races anymore. So unfortunately, I kind of stopped at that point. And then it wasn't until probably about, I think it was 2012 that I got back into it. And probably same as most people, same story. It was the Traxxas Slash. I happened to go into a local RC shop and saw it. And I'm like, wow, it has brushless and lipo, and this thing looks so realistic. And I bought 2 of them. I'm like, I can't just have one. I gotta have one for me and then another one for my buddy so we can race. And we just went out in the parking lot, had some fun, and found that there were local tracks, and slowly got back into it. So.
Okay. What did you do in the meantime between when you got involved out of RC and back into it? What was you doing? Was you obviously was working? What was your profession then back then and whatnot?
Well, I did IT for about 20 years. So that's what my dad's company was. He did mostly telephone systems and networks and stuff. Learned that, got married, moved to San Diego, and unfortunately got divorced a couple of years later, but fell in love with it down here, and kept in that same profession. And about I think it was about 15 years ago, I started my own company. And so I had that for about 10 years doing IT. So it was like telephone systems, servers, networks, cabling, Cat 5, Cat 6, all that type of stuff. Okay. So, yeah.
So, so I just wanted to know what you was doing in the meantime. So your background is IT, and that's cool. So when you got these 2 slashes, how did that transform from racing 2 slashes to probably getting a little bit more serious about RC?
Yeah.
Did it take over your life, like the RC addiction hit?
100%. Yeah. It was pretty crazy. It took over my life enough that I decided to sell my business and just do this. So yeah, it was pretty nuts. I got my buddy into it for a while. We went to a little track called Verona that's out by a casino here, and raced a couple of times. She wasn't so into it, but I kept racing, and just like anything, I was putting too much money into it, realizing that it was falling apart, and the other guys there weren't racing this truck, and their trucks looked better. So I think it was a Jammin that I got next, and just kind of went from there. Just had fun with the local scene. So that was at an outdoor track called Verona, and then SDRC opened, and that was just awesome. When they first opened, I probably was there every other day, staying until midnight. I mean, it really wasn't uncommon for club races to go till 1 or 2 in the morning. I mean, people were just hooked and just wanted to race. It was awesome, and that's actually how I got involved with techno. Danny lives here. Daniel Lewis lives here in San Diego also, and I noticed he had a prototype electric 8-scale buggy that they were racing. It looked really cool. It looked really different. It was super narrow, and at that time had the short shocks and stuff, but you could still tell it was pretty different and looked like a lot of fun, and just kind of hit it off with him, and ended up helping him out with it. Just getting the development going on it, working out the diffs and shocks, and a lot of stuff early on, before probably a year, maybe even a year and a half before the buggy was actually released. So it was pretty early on as far as techno's kits are concerned. But Danny, no, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead about Danny.
No, I was gonna say, but techno actually started quite a bit earlier than that. I want to say it was 2005. So he actually started making it was wing kits for the Traxxas Revo. So
yes, I remember that.
Yeah,
now that you say
that was the first product he ever made, and I guess he kind of cut his teeth on that, learned how to do the design, and found the manufacturing guys for it to do the molds, and then it was quite a learning process, I understand, but he just started in his garage. So was really, we have we like to sponsor the Grassroots Racers section on the podcast, but that's really our roots. I mean, we are grassroots racers. I mean, we try to really, when we come out with a product, we try to really think what the average guy wants, not only the racer, but also what the average guy wants, and that could be a guy just messing around in his backyard, just wanting to have a good time, so.
Yeah, because Techno started as well doing a lot of e-buggy conversions and stuff. I know they made one for Joseph for the JQ back in the day, and that's kind of where I remember them from, when they started making e-buggy conversions. So that e-buggy wasn't popular. Like, nobody was really making them, so they were kind of ahead of, I guess they kind of started this, kind of pioneers in that.
Yeah, he was definitely early on it. I mean, it was there were some out there, but there were just guys kind of cobbling things together and making their own motor mounts and stuff, and he was one of the first kits, if not the first one. I think there was another one right about the same time. I'm not sure exactly who was first, but he was definitely early on it, and started making the conversions, came out with them for basically every car that was out there. And I think it was A-Main that actually contracted him to make one for JQ, and yeah, I mean, they did really successful with it. I think they had 4 different versions of the e-buggy conversions, and that kind of spearheaded him getting into chassis development, because you really had to figure out how everything fit together, and just the geometry on the cars and stuff. And but that was the early beginnings. It was e-buggy conversions. That's what really brought us, I guess, in front of most of the people, most of the RC crowd.
I have to ask, where did the name Techno come from? Because Joseph told me that that Danny was a techno DJ. Is that true?
That's 100% true. Yeah,
really,
he actually still is. Yeah, he. That's what Danny likes to do on his spare time is make techno music. He's got a whole rig at his house, and I mean, pretty awesome little studio set up that with all the software and everything. He's constantly showing me stuff. Yeah, actually, just the other day he was playing one for us in the office, and it's not really my style. I mean, it's a little too repetitive, maybe a little too fast. But it's the slower stuff I can kind of listen to, and that he kind of knows that, so he picks out the stuff he thinks I'll like, and sometimes we'll play that like on the way to a race or something. If we're driving to say like Vegas or something for Silver State, that's a 4-hour drive, and we'll listen to techno on the way. By the time we get there, usually my head's kind of pounding. I'm a little over it, but it's definitely interesting. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so you met Danny how long ago and got involved in the e-buggy? How long ago was that?
Well, man, I mean, it all kind of just happened. I mean, I want to say it was back in 2012. So it was SDRC just opened, and that's our indoor 10 scale track. But back then they ran 8 scale, and so it was back. I believe it was back in 2012, somewhere right around that time, and just came on board to help him with development of the EB410 before it was even out. But
you was still running your IT business at the time, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So when did you?
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, because that was going to be my next question. But go ahead.
I was going to say, that just running my own business. I mean, that's a service-based business, so it gave me a lot of time in between jobs. So I'd just keep my cars in the back of my truck, and when I was finished, I was the owner of the company, so I'm making my own schedule and stuff.
Right.
So if I'm done, I just go by the track and go fart around. So so that's what I did. Just spent a lot of time at the track. Scotty Bergen was the owner at that time. Helped him with all the IT there, ran all the wiring, set up all the phones and the computers, and even RC Scoring Pro, all that kind of stuff. So just really got involved with the local racing scene, and just kind of donated my time and did what I could to kind of help out SDRC and get that going.
Yeah, SDRC looks like a cool track, man. I'm gonna try and come down to San Diego and check it out this trip. I want to see something a little bit different. I haven't been down there yet, so maybe we'll get me and my buddy Mike will hop in the car and take a drive down there one of our free days. Check it out. I want to see that track. I've always seen him on Facebook and whatnot, so it'd be cool to go down there and hang out for a day. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, so
it's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So you're running your IT business. Now you're involved in the development of this e-buggy. When did you say, okay, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and put 110% into RC and make this my job? How did that come about?
Well, I've been doing it for about 20 years. So I did it for 10 or so working for my dad, and then had my own company for 10 years and just kind of getting tired of it. It was very, I wouldn't say repetitive, but it was, I don't know, I was doing a lot of work for medical offices, and I'm sure anybody who's worked with doctors, they're pretty demanding, and they can be pretty difficult to deal with. Let's put it that way. Okay. So I just kind of got tired of it, and just wanted to change. And I think we're on our way back from a race up in Chico, up at A Main, and Danny was like, "We need to get some pro drivers. Do you want to? What's your future look like? Do you want to do this full time?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, let's do it." So yeah, that's kind of where it all started, to be honest. Well, as the full-time side of things.
Okay, what year was that, more or less? Was it 2012 too, or a little bit later?
Yeah, well, that would have been, oh man, I'm really bad on dates. That probably would have been 2013, 2014, somewhere right around there. It was before we got Joe and Ryan, before we really made that decision to build up our pro team, our factory team, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
So it was quite a while ago.
Okay. Who was the first person to join? Who was your first pro driver that you signed? Was it Ryan or was it Joe?
That was Joe. Yeah.
Really? He must have been 17.
No. But he's a giant, so he looks like he's 35 or something.
I know, but he's still a young man. He's 25 or something like that. So.
Yeah, I think he's 26.
Okay.
Yeah, but Joe was the first one. We actually signed the contract. There's a pretty funny story about it. We signed the contract right before, I think it was Southern Nats, and I was on the phone with him, talking to him about stuff, and he's like, "Man, I really want to go to the Southern Nats," and I'm actually there at the time, so he was talking about actually just dropping whatever he was doing. He only had an e-buggy at that time. He was going to drive all the way from Ohio, down to Monroe, and which is like a 14-hour drive, just to run some e-buggy, just because he was so excited about it. But but yeah, it was Joe, and then Ryan came on just right after that. We had kind of a little secret test session with them at Thunder Alley, and he liked the car, and we all got along. Everything was awesome, and we decided to pull the trigger and just go for it. And making that jump from having no pro drivers to having 2 pro drivers that you have to pay salary, you have to pay contingency, and you have to pay travel. I mean, it was a big expense for us. Yeah.
How did Joe even get on your radar at that time? Because he was how did you find out about him? That's an interesting story I would like to hear about.
Yeah, well, I guess one thing I really like to try to do is keep my kind of keep my ear out, you know, and talk to the fast guys and also listen. You know, I'll ask a lot of people, you know, questions and stuff. And you know, since we were thinking about it, one of our regional team managers, actually Sean Ramos at the time, knew Joe really well. He's like, man, if you guys are going to do this, you need to talk to him. You know, you need to see if he's interested, fly him out, you know, and get him to run. He's a really good guy. You know, he's young, but he's got a lot of talent, and so we it was kind of crazy. We flew Joe, his buddy, I forget his name it slips my mind at the moment, but we flew Joe, his buddy, and Sean out to San Diego just for a test session, just because we wanted Joe to feel comfortable and make sure everything was okay, and you know, have some extra help for when we're running on the track or stuff, you know. And Joe's our first pro driver. We didn't know what to do, so we're like, okay, we want to make sure he's like as comfortable as possible. Let's just bring his buddies out, you know. So it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I never knew how he became a pro driver. I just kind of knew that he was a really good motocross rider, got in a bad accident, and picked up RC cars, and he was kind of naturally talented at it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. He's definitely, he picked up RC late, I think, in his life, and definitely has excelled in it. So he's made a career of it, and yeah, he's been with you guys for a while now. So it's 5 years, and I think it was a good. And how did you land Ryan at the time? He was probably coming off Durango that time. Yeah. He was with Durango. We kind of stole him from Durango. He was. It was, you know, everybody knows Ryan. Ryan travels everywhere, and Ryan's a really nice guy, very personable, and you know, a great representative. And it was so even 2 years before we really, I think it was a year, maybe 2 years before we even decided to do a pro team, I was traveling around, going to these major races and seeing these guys. And so, you know, I hadn't actually really introduced myself to Ryan, but I'd seen him. You know, I was watching how he interacts with customers, and you know, just people, you know, coming up and asking him questions, and him always asking, you know, helping and all that. And I was noticing him, and that's what kind of put him on our radar. So it was the same stuff he does today. You know, I think it was
just who he is.
Yeah, I think signing those two guys was very pivotal and a great added to you guys' success so far. I really think it's a great example of that. You know, you had the young Joe coming up, and you had I would say Lutz was still probably a veteran at that time as well, but it definitely seems to have boosted techno, because the growth you guys have seen since that happened is amazing, really. So I mean, obviously, in hard work that you guys put in, I mean. You guys pretty much started the e-truggy thing as well. I have to give e-truggy a lot of crap, but I mean it's growing. It is definitely growing. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you guys have a great truggy. You had the e-truggy come out. Your nitro. You had a full lineup. You had the short course. So you guys had a full arsenal of cars, and people, you know, even though short course is kind of dying a little bit now, but it's still a great car.
It's actually still a very good seller for us, to be honest. I mean, even though we don't see it at the track, it's still probably a top 3 seller for us.
Really?
It's and I think that's one thing that kind of sets us apart from most companies is we you know, we focus on the basher, you know, as well as the racer. You know, our cars can kind of make that crossover. You know, if there's any one thing I said, you know, I could say that that really was key to our success. It's that. It's you know, the ability for, you know, somebody who wants to just buy a kit because it's very dependable and just go screw around in the backyard. You know, techno's perfect for that. You know, whether they want to, you know, a truggy or an e-buggy or, you know, a short course. And that's, you know, I mean, we're not trying to really, you know, kind of do what Traxxas did, but we're wanting, we want to definitely focus on racing, but we want to make sure our products also appeal to that crossover crowd, if you want to think of it like that.
Yeah, I drove. He's rest in peace with Barney. I met him at Southern Nats. I tried he had one of you guys, that monster truck. The monster truck that you guys had, and he had that thing on 6S, and he let me drive it up and down that parking lot, and I was like, "Jeez, wow!" It was so much fun. I was like, "This is I can see I could just do this all day." So that's cool too. And then you mini truggy, man. I think that's been one of your biggest successes in the last year and a half, man. You guys created a whole new class. It's popular. I see PR Racing has one that's coming out. Do you think? I think Associated or somebody has like a conversion, not Associated, but a company made a conversion for one. How about that,
X-Ray
man?
has one.
Okay, yeah. How about that? Has that class really has it taken off as big as I think it has, or what?
Well, I mean, it's definitely growing. I mean, it started with 0 basically, so it's growing. It's there's we've sold a lot of them for sure. I think that's kind of it's up there with short course. So it's a popular category for us, but it hasn't turned into a really a racing class like we had hoped. It's in the process. It's growing, and it's definitely getting there. And we knew it was going to take years to really develop the class, and there was of course there's a potential that it wouldn't even catch on at all, but I think we've seen a good growth. Just last weekend at the cancer race, I think there were 2 full heats of it. It's definitely a growing class, and I think a lot of people like it just because it's fun and it's easy to drive, and it's kind of it's an entry level class. It's a class that you don't have to do a lot of work on, that you don't have to make sure your tires are the best tires you can possibly get. You can just throw the car out there and have a good time and compete with your buddies.
Whose idea was it? Hey, let's take a truggy and make it 10 scale. Whose idea was that?
Well, I guess it was Daniel. So he and Matt Armeni, he's another designer here at Techno. I mean, we only have 6 people, so it's a really tight knit group. But he and Matt Armeni and Danny used to actually race them probably about 4 or 5 years ago at SDRC. They were called Hyper TTs, and they were just so fast. They looked like so much fun. I didn't know Danny at the time, but I saw the trucks out there running them, and they were running modified motors in them, super fast. These little teeny trucks running around like crazy, but they were pretty fragile. They would break all the time. They had driveline issues and stuff like that. So it kind of died out. But I think after, I wouldn't even say after. I would say probably during the development of the EB410, that was always in the back of their minds. They're like, how can we make this buggy durable enough that it can not only be used for this buggy, but also in a truck form? And that's just kind of how it started. And
it uses stadium truck tires as well, correct? In some cases,
yeah, stadium truck, or short course.
Okay,
short course tires fit on it too.
So you don't need a separate set of tires or anything like that. So that's cool. No, that's awesome. I have yet to try one. I haven't. Well, we don't race much here, so I haven't even seen one go. I don't think. So it'd be interesting. Maybe I'll see one on this trip here.
Maybe I'll have to send you one.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. I would definitely send it. I'm gonna make me a drag car here soon. So that's my next project, RC drag car. And I'm not gonna lie. I think I really enjoy. I think your truggy is really good too. I see it's super popular. A lot of people have it, and I've seen it all over the world. So that's good stuff as well. We're gonna talk about the new Nitro car in a bit, but I wanted to just say you spend a lot of time on the road, dude. How much time are you on the road?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's probably about I'd say about every 3 weeks, maybe just a little bit more. But maybe every 4 to 3 weeks I'm on the road. But when we're gone, I mean, we could be gone for 5, 6, 7, 8 days easily. So it's a little tiring, you know, and it you know, you get used to it. You're on the road a lot, and you kind of get used to living in a hotel for a while and eating McDonald's every day, and you know, that kind of stuff. But it's an interesting lifestyle for sure.
It is. It's not all glamorous like people think, but it definitely it can be interesting.
It's fun. It really is fun. I'm sure people think they see what we're doing, they're like, man, you guys get to race RC cars, but it's like, yeah, you know, I really don't get to race RC cars.
No, you don't.
I'm there to support. You know, I'm there to help people, whether it's customers or team drivers or Jared or Joe. You know, I'm there to help and to make sure everything goes well. So it's, you know, every now and then I do get to race, but it's pretty rare. So hopefully maybe more in the future, which would be a lot of fun, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Okay. And you guys do really have top-notch support. What has been, besides getting Ryan Lutz and Joe and now Jared on, what has been one of the key factors in you guys having such a great team, especially in America? Because every race I go to, there's always a big techno group, and they all pit together. It's similar like to how we do it. They all pit together, and you're there. I've seen you buying pizzas for everybody, and what else do you contribute to that? Like, I think it has a lot to do with you. I know you guys also have really good regional managers as well, and but what would you say has helped you guys grow in that aspect?
Yeah, it's just getting the right guys, getting the best guys we can. You know, from our team guys to our RTMs, you know, to even our pro guys. You know, we just try to be pretty selective about who we bring on board. You know, we want to make sure everybody gets along, has a good time. You know, sure, we want the banner and, you know, the trash talking and stuff. You know, that's just part of it. But you can kind of tell when it goes too far. You know, you can tell when somebody's just messing with somebody. You know, and those are the kind of the guys we've, you know, really tried to stay away from or weed out. You know, to make sure that we have just, you know, good guys who are, you know, who are great racers on the track, as well as helpful and, you know, friendly and fun off the track. So, yeah, that's key. That's really key. You can't have corrosive people in your team that, you know, it rusted from the inside out. It destroys the team, man. And you want people that believe in what you're doing. Like, that's something I believe in. So I get that. I honestly get that. So, okay, one of the other big things that happened was you guys were heavily involved in silly season 2018, 2019 with the shocking departure of Ryan Lutz and Jared Tebow coming on board. Yeah. I was actually shocked about that, you know, because Ryan had been with you guys for a while, and Tebow is now with you guys. He just came back from the Worlds. We had you know, I guess he's a little bit disappointed in his results, but you know, hey, it's not easy, man. That was a hard race for everybody. It's a lot of people that probably should have been in the finals that weren't in the finals. Yeah. So I wouldn't beat if I was him. I wouldn't beat myself up too much. What actually? I guess I want to know, why did you guys kind of get away from Ryan and go with Jared? What was the decision in making that? Well, it really didn't happen like that. I mean, it was, you know, with I'm sure you want to hear the juicy details and stuff, but
yeah, I know you can't say some things, but you know,
I can't say a lot of it.
Right.
It really isn't bad. It really isn't bad. It's just we wanted to go a different direction. His contract was up. And we wanted to go a different direction. We wanted to see, you know, Danny is super, super competitive. And, you know, every race that we go to, he wants to win. And it's not that Ryan wasn't winning or doing his best. It's just we wanted to see if something else was possible. Okay. And, you know, Ryan was doing a great job. You know, he, you know, his I have to say, Ryan is a very, very talented driver. So was Jared, and so were Joe. But Ryan just has this crazy natural ability, to just wheel a car. It's pretty nuts. When you see him when he's in the zone, it's pretty amazing, to be honest. But yeah, we're still good friends. I say hi to him all the time, and we when we see each other at the track and stuff, and there's no ill will, there's no hard feelings. It's I think it's just part of racing. I mean, there's just changes that happen. And,
Business. It's just business.
And
that's
that
all
was just
good.
part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems that way. How do you guys feel with Jared on board? Has he lived up to expectations so far? And I guess you guys have got a good foundation going into 2020, I would say.
Yeah. I think Jared is really picking up the cars. It's a big change from what he had before.
Very big.
He's done a really good job, and it's a totally different environment than what he was used to. Also, he was
much more support, I would say.
Yeah, and he was really locked into what he could do with the cars before. Where now we're just like, run another wing or run another body, or on Kyosho, they weren't really open for that. They wanted to make sure that you run what they make, So now the floodgates are open, and he can, kind of try all kinds of stuff, and it's been good. He's had a lot of really good ideas, different directions. With the cars, he's helped with, development of the 2.0. I mean, he's been instrumental in that, and he'll be a big help for other classes and other platforms that we'll have in the future.
He seems to be enjoying RC again and having fun. And when I talked to him earlier after he signed with you guys, and it was a great conversation with him. I just watched today. They did the breakfast. I think they released. RC Racing TV did the breakfast of champions.
Oh yeah,
and I thought that was pretty good. I was listening, and he seems like at one point he was considering retiring, and now he seems to be in a good place. So that's good. He's still young. He still has a lot more racing left in him. So it's good to see. Very good to see. And another thing that I do like about you guys seem to get young racers. I'll use example like Jared Wiggins, Carlos Arredondo, Seth Van Dalen. Who else? You seem to get young racers, and they stay with you guys, and it seems like you guys groomed them. Do you guys purposely do that, or is it just? I mean, yes, of course you want to do it, because I like to get young guys on the team and groom them as well. But it seems like you guys have a good way of keeping them running techno cars. Like Jared Wiggins is a great example. Yeah,
Jared's awesome. Jared is so dedicated to RC. It's unbelievable, to be honest. I mean, from the moment he wakes up to the time he's going to bed, that's all he's thinking about. And it's great. He's balancing RC with going to college right now, and it's amazing. He's a really good kid. But
he is.
But yeah, the young, we see the value in the younger crowd. I mean, they're our future, and they're potential, next Joe's or Jared's or Brian's, or so we definitely want to try to take care of them and do everything we can. I'm sure there's times where we're not doing everything that we possibly could to help them, but they're great kids, and we really try to support them, and try to give them tips when we can, let them grow and let them learn on their own, but maybe kind of direct them a little bit when we can. Seth already knew a lot. He and his dad worked together a lot, Sean, and they've been fast for years. They're great. But with Wiggins and Carlos and even Joey Bordon,
yes,
they're great kids that we want to just try and help, and not really push them, but kind of maybe direct them, with what we think might be good for them. I mean, their families and their parents are still heavily involved in what they do, so we're trying to be very aware of that, but yeah, I mean, not only with our upper level guys, but even our customers and even our guys who are newer on the team. I mean, the young kids are the future. I mean,
Yes.
that's something we heavily believe in, and we want to make sure we're doing everything to provide that right environment for them. So,
I think you guys are doing a great job. I honestly do. Most of the people mostly every person that I talk to is really happy with Techno, with the team and whatnot, and that's good. I think you've done a great job at that. So congratulations. From I guess my position as a team manager. I guess I still don't know if I'm a team manager yet. I do a little bit of everything, so I kind of don't know, but it's a lot of work, dude. And I think you are a big factor in that because I see you. You're working hard.
Thank you. Yeah, and you definitely are a team manager. And
Some days I am. Some days.
No, definitely. I mean, just to reciprocate a little bit here, but what you have done with JQ has been amazing, and
I appreciate it.
Just in the short amount of time, the turnaround with the brand, and even trying to, maybe help JQ a little bit and calm down.
Trying. But the thing is, you guys get along, and I didn't know that until you guys talked at the race one day, and I was like, oh, okay, and that's when I got to know you, and I think you guys have a mutual respect. Now we need to kind of get him and Danny to sit down and talk. I think one day that would be good. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I think we need to try and make it happen. Okay.
Yeah.
You're like, that ain't ever gonna. I can already that. I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
It could. You never know.
I could. I mean, they both seem very super competitive and very like this is how I'm gonna do it, and that's it. So
yeah, they're similar, but they're different.
Yeah,
they've both started their own companies from nothing. They're in both very similar conditions and situations. So I imagine there's a little competition between them or something, but yeah, it'd be good if they could bury the hatchet. I'm not even sure what it's all about, but
I would like to happen. And I tell Joseph that all the time. I said, you guys should really sit down and talk, and he says, well, we used to be friends. I was like, yeah, I get that, but things happen, so you need to figure out where it went wrong, and you guys just be cool, and you're both very passionate about what you're doing, so it's not I want all of us to work together, and that's why you sponsored the Techno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight, which I greatly appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're doing a great job with it. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. Now, you guys have also been in the news the last few weeks with your new car, the 2.0, and I don't really nerd out on this type of stuff, but Joseph has brought a lot of it to my attention, and I started looking at it, and I see you guys have done some things. I looked at it too, and I was like, it's different from your previous car. But how long have you guys been developing this 2.0?
Oh, long time. Probably the day after the original one was released, to be honest. I mean, that's how it always is. As soon as you put something out, you're thinking, oh man, what can we do next? What can we do better? And that's kind of how it's been. I mean, we've seen what the car's doing at the track over the years, and just trying to pay attention to everything, and realizing where we're lacking or what we need to do, to make the car better. And we try to do it, but a lot of times it wasn't possible, just because of the layout of the chassis, or the gearboxes, or whatever it was. But this is just a culmination of probably serious development, at least 3 years, and then a full year of on-track testing.
Okay.
We brought this out at Worlds last year, and didn't have a good showing, unfortunately. No. We went there with the highest expectations and just were shot down. It was really bad.
But that's how it goes, though. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Dude. Trust me. Who's been involved in designing this? I heard Jared Wiggins has been actively involved. Is that true?
Jared's involved in a lot of the testing. He doesn't do design, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
That's mostly Daniel and Matt, the other Matt that works for Techno.
Okay, I just heard he's like really super smart. Like He's really into this. So that's how the rumor started. But I'm sure he's been testing. So you guys went a little bit different. You went back to a more traditional front suspension. You went away from the really long shocks, a wider chassis, and probably the thing that caught my eye, the narrowest pivot out there so far. And just like, where did you guys get these ideas from? Because I hate to go back to JQ, but it's funny because he's just saying, before the car was released, it's like, I think we're going to go to wider arms and narrowest pivot we can get. And then you guys came out with it. So, and he'd be like, no, I can't do it. Or something. He'll say something stupid like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yes, definitely a wider chat. Like I listened to him and he's talked about it. And I looked at it. The more traditional front suspension and wider chassis. Where did that, you guys just, because you guys had the longest front shocks and whatnot for the longest while, and just
well, the front shocks are still the same. It's only the rear shocks that have changed. Okay. So it's and that was really kind of Joe and Jared. Mm-hmm. In that year of testing, we actually started with the long rear shocks, and we have an optional tower for that will support the long rear shocks if people want to go back to it. But in the testing, Jared and Joe really liked the shorter rear shocks, which is really weird. I mean, it's something unique. I don't think I've seen a car for at least a long time that has had front and rear shocks that are the same length. So they're identical. We just have different shock guides at the bottom that limit the up travel for the rear a little differently. But the front and rear shocks are actually the same length, and they actually use the same springs also.
Really?
So front springs work on the rear of our car now. So pretty crazy.
Yeah, you've been selling them. I've seen them in shops, and people have been buying them. What's been the feedback so far from the average racer?
Yeah, it's been good. There's little things, with manufacturing. There's some people have had a few threads and parts that weren't done right, and and we always work with them. We'll definitely send them the parts that they need, to get it fixed and stuff. But other than that, I don't think there's been a whole lot. I mean, like I said, we have seriously track tested this for an entire year, and really put it through the paces. So, there was stuff that we found early on with like arms not fitting right or hinge pins not fitting right, and gearboxes not going together correctly, and that's one thing we really try to do is spend that extra time to work with the factory and give them the updates that they need to fix the product. So we've I don't even know how many changes we've had on this car. It's probably well over 200 or 300, to be honest. Our factory's probably ready to kill us, but it's just little things. It's like taking off just the slightest tenth of a millimeter here on some plastic, or changing the design on the metal part so that it fits a little better, or just little iterations that I think kind of make the difference for our customer. Because our goal really is, when you put one of our kits together, that it goes together well. You don't need anything. You don't need to do any grinding. You don't need anything extra to make it work. It just kind of goes together. And it's kind of our whole philosophy with RC. I'm sure we'll get into it later, but there's just a whole philosophy we have that RC should be, it should be understandable. We need to make sure that people can read the manual and can put the car together and have a good experience. That's awesome. That's a big philosophy of ours.
Awesome. One of the innovations that I liked that was actually brought to my attention by one of my drivers. His buddy must have been putting the car together, and it's like, look at this, bushings in the arms. I thought that was pretty cool. The bushings. And I was like, that's a great idea. I really thought that. So little things like that make a difference, man. And so what's been released now is like pre-production, or this is production, or how does it work from?
No, this is actually the first run of production.
Okay.
So it was met very well.
Yes.
Our dealers and distributors picked it up and bought a lot. Our team guys and our customers bought us out, and we're super happy. It actually sold out in about 4 hours.
Yeah, my Facebook
crazy.
timeline's been flooded with new techno pictures, and I'm like, wow, that's good. That's good. Good for you guys, man. Happy for you guys.
Thank you.
So it's me good to see how it does that on regional levels and at national levels and whatnot as well. So, and I'm sure you guys are developing new stuff for it already and have new stuff ready for it to go.
Oh yeah.
All right. Future of techno and RC. Now, what does the future hold for techno and yourself?
I don't know. I mean, a big part of what we do is just trying to be different, I guess. I mean, if you look at our designs, we really haven't copied anybody. I mean, at a certain level, you have to. I mean, you have 4 wheels and you have drive shafts and stuff. But, I mean, there's a lot of things we have copied, but, we're always going to try and come up with something that's new, something that's a little different, and then support our guys. I mean, that's really, a big part, I think, at least part of our success has just been trying to help our guys and support our guys. I really try to put myself in their shoes, because I was, not too long ago, I was exactly in their shoes, buying kits and, going to races and stuff. And so I think that's something that kind of sets us apart is we know what it's like to be that, that average guy at the track that just needs the help to get out there and run, So I think we'll continue to do that. I don't think anything there will change. And as far as me, I don't know. I mean, I'm happy, having a good time. These long races are a little tiring at times, but it's just part of it. I mean, it's part of the job.
Yep.
But it's a lot of fun to to meet people. I really get a lot of enjoyment out of helping people. Just showing them, how their car could be better, or how to tune an engine, or just helping them fix something. The level of enjoyment that I get out of that is just priceless to me. So I really don't see any change. Pretty happy.
Okay. Growth outside of America. In America, you guys are super popular, obviously. I see in England you have a nice sized team. You have Zanchetin, who's super fast Italian guy. I don't know really how your numbers are in Europe or Asia or where else, but are you guys gonna? I mean, like, obviously RC is bigger than America. I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, I know you guys have the UK team in Zanchetin, but what are you guys' plans to grow further in Europe and in Asia, Australia, and these countries?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to continue to be a big focus for us. Ilias is helping a lot with that. He's actually our international sales and team manager. So that's kind of more his domain, his area. But he was instrumental in bringing Alex on, and growing a lot of our team, and picking up dealers and distributors internationally. Because before him, we really had 0 international coverage. I mean, it was pitiful, and I'm sure JQ has mentioned a lot of things about Ilias, and that's probably part of the whole. He needs
to sit down with Elias too and have a conversation with him. I've told him that over and over as well. It's like, that was your friend. I get it. He has some bad feelings to that, but I was like, Joseph, sometimes you just have to just bury the hatchet and go. Like, that's your friend. That was your friend. So you should guys should figure things out and be friends again.
Yeah. Hopefully someday. It sounds like they kind of have, maybe recently, but there's been some developments there. Hopefully everything is a little bit better.
I do too, because I don't like it. I know how it feels, man. And he needs to just get over it, and be, friends are friends at the end of the day. That's how I look at it. So
yeah, it's hard when you take it you're so passionate about it, and I definitely understand, from both sides of the coin.
Yeah, for both of them. I think for both of them, because they were both really close with each other. So I hope it happens. And I think Elias was very integral in your and plays an integral part in your international team. So
most definitely.
Yeah, but I know it's hard to grow. Like, America is the biggest market. Europe's a completely different monster altogether. You deal with so many different countries, customs, languages, Yeah. So it's, in America, it's regional, state by state. It's a little easier. So I get it. But you guys are doing really great in America, man. And like I said, you have cars for bashers. You have cars for everybody. And so I don't see anything. I think you guys are doing a great job. And I just see you getting bigger.
Hopefully.
Bigger.
I mean, fingers crossed. Hopefully it goes good. And, Italy's a really good market for us. The UK, like you mentioned, Australia is kind of it's growing a little bit. It's doing well. But Europe in general is
tough
even
nut to
from
crack,
the time
man.
we started has been difficult for us. And, being an American company, I think might be, a little bit to our detriment, to be honest. They're used to what the brands that are out there, and here's a new American company that has big shocks on their cars and looks funny or whatever. It's but I think we're trying.
Yeah.
We realize we need to make changes. We realize our cars can be better. We'll never be satisfied with how our cars are performing, or the design on the cars will
it never
always
stops,
be changing.
dude. It never stops.
So.
You always, like you said, you're always looking for that edge, and this is how innovation happens. And
Absolutely.
lots of room to still be innovative in RC. Now, are you guys going to make a 2-wheel drive 10-scale car? I'm sure you get asked that so much. It's like people asking if we're going to make a truggy.
Yeah. We were asked about, the 4-wheel drive 10-scale buggy, and that's how it always happens. As soon as you come out with something, they ask for the next one. And I won't say that we're not going to do it. Let's put it that way.
Okay. It's like when people ask, when is Jake, you going to make a truggy? And I'm like,
yeah.
I want a truggy myself, because I like truggy, and I want to race it myself. Okay. Now about RC in general. How do we grow our hobby and our sport? What do we have to do? We're trying a lot of things. Obviously I'm big on RCGP, obviously. But I also think we need to hit it from all angles. We need to be doing everything to promote our
100%.
hobby. I also believe that we need to work together as manufacturers. Even though we're competitors, we need to grow this pie, make it so everybody can eat a little bit better. And even the consumer, if we get more people in RC, the consumer, it's better for the consumer. But what are your thoughts? What would you like to see? What would you think? What would you do if you could do it?
Well, I mean, like we mentioned when we talked earlier, I've been trying to catch up with the podcast and stuff, and you mentioned that even adding 100 drivers, would be good, and I completely agree.
Thank you. Thank you.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
We would totally see that. I mean, that's a big difference for us. Even, if it's just in the U.S., that's, 2 per state. If it's worldwide, I mean, that's 1 per region or something. I mean, we would see that. I mean, that's a big difference for us. That's an extra person, and that extra person will bring people in. And yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. It's doing that. It's just growing incrementally, getting the word out. I think we have a huge resource with the guys who are, messing around in their backyards, who are already into RC. Let's turn those guys into racers. Let's show them tracks. Let's get them going. I mean,
I agree.
How
We
many,
need to. Sorry, go ahead.
Say how many trackless vehicles are there out there? There's millions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Arma is another big one. There's another one. It escapes me. But there's a lot of people who just have RCs, but you know, we need to show them racing.
I agree.
You know.
Well, I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna ask you because you know it's RCGP, and I kind of knew you guys were kind of interested in it at first until you found out. Let's be realistic. Until you found out about Joseph was behind it.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I think you guys think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I would love to see Techno involved, and I'd love to see Jared and Joe be there. And this is one of the reasons I want like Daniel and Joseph to bury the hatchet and try and make this happen. Even though Joseph's going to be phasing out, what do you think about it? Give me your feelings. Do you think this is a step in the right direction that we need to go? Do you like the thought of having a series to determine a world champion? Maybe professionalizing our sport a little bit more to create a product to get it out there a little bit more to people that don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, I think determining a world champion upon one race is kind of silly, in my opinion. I mean, that's the guy who was the fastest that weekend at that track. You know, we need to see who's the fastest overall. You know, at several races. I mean, in my opinion, that shows who is the fastest overall and who is a world champion. I mean, it could be Ongaro, it could be Mayfield, it could be Tebow, it could be Joe, it could be anybody. But at just one track seems kind of silly to me. And that's a big plus from what I see that you guys are doing. The media coverage has, with what RC Racing TV is doing, has been awesome. The tracks look great. They've been presented very well. They look nice. The interviews, everything like that, looks really cool. The only thing, that is a deterrent for us is it's unfortunately the races for us are in smaller markets for us. Like you mentioned, we're real popular in the U.S. and just to have one race in the U.S. is it's hard for us to commit to. If we were to get past, if I were to convince Danny to work with JQ and we got past all that, it's just the markets that they're in are smaller for us, and it's difficult for us to justify the travel expense and the expense to join for races that are in smaller markets for us. So.
Well, I obviously like the USA race is going to be the biggest one with the most RC2 competitors. It looks like it's going to be really good. I know their goal is to do 2 next year in America, which I think we should do 2, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. Man, yeah. I would love to see you guys join. I mean, I would love to get Daniel and Joseph to sit down and hash things out. I think it would be good for Techno, and even in the markets that you're not big, it will help promote you, help promote in Europe. I'm not sure what's going to happen with how many more races they're going to do, like wherever in the world. I haven't heard those details yet, but I do agree with you on a lot of those things, man. And I think Techno is a very forward-thinking company. You seem like a very forward-thinking person. My conversations I've had with Danny, he seems very forward. He obviously is forward-thinking because he wouldn't be where he is if he wasn't. So hopefully we can, hopefully one day we can see it. I think the people want to see it too. From my interaction with people about RCGP, obviously through the podcast, through different things, the people that are into RC want to see a series as well and see these guys race, man. I always get on this soapbox, and I will, because I want to see these guys race. I want to see Tebow. I want to see Bornhorst and Lutz and all these guys race more than, all together, and the European guys and stuff, more than once every 2 years. It's unfair to us as RC fans, I think. But this is RC. But we have to do sometimes we have to do drastic things to make change happen. So we shall see. I think you should come up and check out the race. I know, like, the last thing you want to do on a weekend off is come check out RC racing, but yeah. All right. Well, this leads into my next question. What are some of the things you would change right now in RC or bring back from back in the day?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, I've been catching up on your podcasts and stuff, and I agree with the tire thing. Tires are, a huge cost for people right now. And, not only do you have to have the right, tread pattern, but you have to have the right compound. And before you know it, you got $2,000 worth of tires. I mean, that's just nuts, I think doing something with the tires would be good. Not only like a control, not only like a spec tire, but I think a control tire would be good. At the larger races, like what they do at Reedy. You get one tire and you have to give it to them when you're done.
Really?
Worlds, the same thing.
Okay.
You can't do anything to it. You're not putting any sauce on it. It's one tire. You go out and run. At the larger races, I think that would be good for the pros, and also for the normal guys, for the guys who are out there just having fun. They need to kind of get control on these expenses.
Yeah.
And I think tire is a big part of it, because let's just face it. I mean, they're not spending that much on the chassis or electronics or motor or anything. It's tires. That's the biggest expense. And there's something we can do there that would be good. And then the other big expense is time. At especially the races in the U.S. I mean, there's a huge amount of time that you spend at the races, whether it's number of days or hours at the track. It takes a lot, and you could spend. I know how much time I spend. I'm there 16, 18 hours a day. For 4, 5, 6 days. And I get home, I'm spent. I'm done. I'm thinking, how can these guys do this? How I can take a couple of days off when I get back, but the guys who do this for fun, I mean, they got to go back to work. They just took vacation.
They go work on Monday, dude. I don't know how they do it. Like, drive home, get home at 4, and go to work. I'm like, no way, I couldn't do that, man.
Yeah, and they do. I mean, it definitely is possible, and maybe it's because there's months in between races, and they take extra days off. Maybe they take 2 weeks off for the race or something. I don't know, but in my opinion, for us to get this out there and to make it more appealing, there's two expenses. There's the monetary expense and the time expense that we have to pay attention to. And if we can do that, I think it would be. I think more people would be interested in going to these races and, getting involved in RC, in the racing side of RC.
So you're all for cap races. Have you been to did you ever get to go to the Nnrc race when it was going on?
Yeah. One year. It was great. Yeah. Had a good time.
Yeah. Cap race. Not a whole bunch of entries. Had a schedule. I've never been, but I can see I knew I would like it. I would like to enjoy watching it. You was done by 7:30 at the latest, maybe? Didn't start till 8:30 in the morning. You could go out and have a good meal, relax, enjoy your time there. I would rather pay more for an entry and get more runtime running one class or two classes than, I don't get me wrong. I enjoy going to these big races, but I am 100% agreement with you, man. Being at the track.
I see that side, and I also see that the promoters need to make their money.
I know.
I mean, there's a balance there we have to figure out.
Yeah. I know that's what they're doing. They're putting on these races. They have to make money because they're spending money to do it. I get that. It's nothing wrong with that. But we have to find some balance. I kind of like how DNC does it. Like Truggy one day. Truggy and I think it's Truggy and E-Buggy one day, then Nitro Buggy the next day for qualifying and mains. But then it makes for a 5-day race, and not everybody can take that time off. But DNC is a bucket list race. But we definitely have to come to something here, man. They do a good job. They do their best to get through these races, but it's still long days, and to get new people in our hobby, like they're gonna be like, you guys are nuts to be there 14 hours a day.
That's a short day.
Yeah, and you only got what, like 20 minutes on the track? Yeah, you know. So definitely, I definitely agree with you, man. We think alike there, but I think that also comes from you've been to so many races and you can see what needs to be done. You've been to a lot more races than me, so I think the problem is people don't know it can be different as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to show people, hey, you know, you can do it this way. Still, the promoter can still make money. You can still get, you know, lots of run time and still have a comfortable day. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon because entries are going up and up, and we're still going to go to these races. So it is what it is, and I'm glad we can go to the races. But yeah, good stuff. All right, Matt, that's about it. I have to for our interview for this week. But you know, on this podcast, we have a 10 question, 10 second segment. So. Yeah, don't worry. These are pretty good. So are you ready for the 10 question, 10 second segment?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So number one, at this DNC, I saw you waiting for a pizza delivery. I thought you was getting like 1 or 2 pizzas. You had to have help to carry all these pizzas. So my question is, what is the most pizzas you ever bought at a race for the team?
Gosh, I don't know. It's probably like 12 or something.
Okay.
I would imagine.
It looked like a lot more than 12 at DNC. You guys had a big team there. Okay. Number 2, what is your favorite race so far that you've done in your time in RC?
Oh man. I guess I really like AMS. Okay. I think the facility, the dirt, everything there is really cool. Like AMS.
Did you like last year with the big Quadzilla and all that stuff? I enjoyed that track. I enjoyed that track to drive on it, not to race on it, but to drive on it was good.
Yeah. To spectate, that was great. Yeah. To drive on was probably a little difficult. Yeah.
Okay. So you don't race much, but I know you do race now and then. If you had to race one class, what would it be?
I knew this was coming. I have to say I like 8 scale. 8 scale probably it. Nitro
or e-buggy?
It'd be probably nitro.
Good, because that's the glory. Number 4, what is the best track you've been to in your travels?
Well, I haven't been to a whole lot of international tracks, so there's a lot there that I'm probably missing. But I would have to say it's probably Thornhill. The facility, the pits, the accommodations, just everything they have there is just amazing. The owner has spent so much money on that track, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'd like to go there myself one day and just check it out. I haven't been there yet. Okay, I know Techno has a much bigger budget than JQ Racing, but what is the worst hotel you have stayed in on the road?
Yeah, I mean, it really hasn't been too bad.
Yeah.
It's probably, it's nothing really. It's probably something that's just musty or, squeaky bed or.
I got some stories.
Not too bad.
When we're driving, we're like, all right, we look at how much it costs. Oh, it's like $50, and then we see how many stars it is, and if it's like 2.5 stars, we start reading reviews, and then we're like, all right, we're gonna stay there. So I think the worst hotel I stayed was 2018 Nationals. Oh man, oof, that was a bad hotel. That was not good. All right, number 6. What do you do when you're not doing RC things? What's your hobbies outside of RC?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I spend so much time on this. This is my hobby that turned into a job, and it's still my hobby. So it's got to be RC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you also live in California, which is like the mecca for RC, and you have SDRC right there, and Los Angeles is what, an hour away, roughly? Probably a little bit more?
Yeah, hour and a half. Uh-huh.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, while you're on the road, what is your favorite food to eat or favorite restaurant to eat at?
Well, let's see. So mine is probably Longhorn. Joe's is probably Taco Bell. And we battle on it all the time.
I can't. One of the things I'm looking forward to getting to California is tacos, street tacos. So,
Oh yeah.
Taco Bell, I cannot do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 8. What is your favorite form of full-scale racing?
No, F1 for sure.
Really? Okay. Who's your driver? Who's your team?
You know, I'm just getting into it.
Okay.
You know, so I don't know a whole lot about it, but I like the professionalism. I like, you know, the production value that they do, you know, that even in the pits. I mean, the pits look spectacular.
Yeah.
They look really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't pick a particular driver, but F1 is really fun to watch, for sure.
Do you read a lot? Do you read books and stuff?
No.
Okay. Well, watch the documentary about Ayrton Senna. I actually read his biography years ago, and it was a really good book, man. That dude's mindset towards racing was absolutely amazing. Amazing. Okay, number 9. If you didn't work in RC, what would be your dream job?
I don't know. It's you know, I don't know. Probably something in IT, I guess. I'd probably still be doing that if I wasn't doing this. So probably be IT director somewhere. Who knows?
Yeah. Number 10, because you're an active pit man, you're a pretty good pit man. How do you decide who you pit if both Jared and Joe are in the final?
Whoever's in the front.
Really? Okay. Do you guys place bets, like internal bets? Like,
yeah, I mean, there's always friendly little things going on. There's no money and stuff, but there's definitely bragging rights on the line, for sure.
Good stuff. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. I appreciate you guys sponsoring the podcast. And, you know, you're a good guy. I've gotten to know you after the last few months. And I just want to say, again, thank you for coming on. Do you have anybody to say thank you or shout-outs to before we end this?
Yeah, definitely, you know, to Daniel for giving me the opportunity. You know, it's been great. It's been an awesome ride. Had a lot of fun. The entire team, you guys are awesome. I appreciate your hard work. You guys put in your 100%. You know, I can't ask for anything more. And, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool, dude. Well, it was a great chat with you. Maybe I'll see you in California in the next couple of weeks. Keep up the good work, man. And let's work on getting Daniel and Joseph sitting down and talking to each other. I think that's important at some point.
I think it'd be good. Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, thank you for your time, and you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks. You too.
We are now at that point of the show where you should fasten those seatbelts and put your big boy pants on. Whoa. Things are about to get serious. It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
So, what's up, everybody? It's that time of the podcast. Yes, it's the JQ Racing Rant. This is the part of the podcast where you have to put your big boy pants on or your big girl pants. Pull up your socks. Get your anti-snowflake force field on. If you get offended easily, you shouldn't listen to this part of the podcast. We're coming to you live from Thunder Alley. So we do have a little bit of ambient back noise. They're still working on the track. Control has just showed up here. I know it sounds like we're kind of recording around doing work at the track. I have Rupert Pumpernickels here with me. He's in full effect. He's looking at me. We've never really done, besides that, this is the second time we have actually done a podcast. Like, he's looking at me right now, and it's stupid. But anyway, I kind of messed up on my sponsor announcements earlier in the first part of the podcast, so I just want to go over my sponsors real quick. All right, Joseph? All right, Rupert?
Why would you call me just so you can go over sponsors again?
Well, I'm not calling you because you're right in front of me.
Yeah, well, you did call me.
Yeah.
You called me. I was over there.
Yeah.
You called me. You said, hey, come over here, sit down here, put your headphones on, and let's do a podcast.
Yeah, because we have to get this up.
Are you just doing this to annoy me? I mean, you barely mentioned JQ Racing.
Well, I kind of forgot.
We mentioned JQ Racing.
Yeah, I
forgot. Just like to mention all the other sponsors all the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's up with that?
I don't know. I don't want to show too much favoritism.
Well, can you show a bit?
Yeah. Okay. This is brought to you by JQ Racing, or AKA Rupert.
It's like
Pumpernickel Racing.
This is my segment, but you always bring other stuff into it, instead of just ranting.
Right. So Joseph was out there shaping a jump for like 3 hours.
Yeah, but you have to admit it looks good. It's like the feature piece of the track.
Yeah, well, if people can do it.
Well,
it's going to be a difficult jump.
Some drivers can do it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Nnrc is going to be the first one that's going to be like, make it look like butter.
Yeah.
Throw it in the air, whip it, land on the other side, and you're going to be like, I can do that too. Crash.
I can do it maybe once in a heat, maybe.
I don't know. Unsure.
Well, get on with it so we can get to the rant.
Well, I wanted to rant about I've been in California for
you're not doing the sponsors now.
No, I'll do them at the end.
Okay.
All right. No, you're always interrupting me.
Yeah.
You gotta stop that. It's rude. So we got to go to Tuesday Night Nationals. We went to JBRL, where you sucked, by the way. Really?
Yeah, I haven't driven in a while.
Yeah, we have excuses. Excuses.com. Max, I just realized Max finished on the same lap as you, and he flamed out. You sucked.
I haven't seen the results.
You came 5th.
That's probably because I was a lap behind everyone.
You was 2 laps behind the win.
Yeah, but after 2 laps, I was.
You sucked. Dagani did well. He blew it a few times. But Mike Hill, he won Tuesday Night Nationals e-buggy. Hot rod's pretty cool. I can see why West Coast racers are so fast, because California is like the mecca of RC, in my opinion. So much racing going on, so much tracks, so much competition.
Good weather.
Great weather.
What's the rant?
My rant this week is why West Coast racers are faster.
We've already talked about that before, I feel.
Yeah, but why? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's not going to be the rant.
Why are my rants always... Why don't we ever rant what I want to rant about?
No, because this is the JQ Racing Rant segment. We have to think of something better than that to rant about.
Drinking some Barrett's ginger beer.
Here's one.
By Salty Joe.
We can rant about all this professional podcasting equipment, Rodecaster Pro, all these lights that we've been mentioning before, all these cables, microphones. What's going on here? If you're so professional and you like to say e-buggy pays the bills, well, in reality, I pay the bills. So if you're so professional, why isn't this podcast raking in the money and so you can support yourself?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. And I'll answer that. So
why did you need this?
Well, we started this a year ago, and basically I'm just using my computer and a USB mic. I set up my room with some acoustic foam, to keep noise down and whatnot. And it was good, but like anything else, just like RC cars, when you start off with an RTR, you eventually, and it's nothing wrong, I can still do that. But I want to go next level here. And to go next level, you gotta spend money. Just like anything else in life, you want to go faster, you spend more money on a faster engine, better servers, more tires, all that type of stuff. Well, in the podcasting world, mics matter, mixers, all this type of stuff. So, I'm geeking out over this Rodecaster mixer.
You've been geeking out for like 2 days. So what's the big deal? Like, what are you going to be doing?
Okay,
what's different?
What we've always wanted to do call-ins. So guess what? Now we can do call-ins.
So people can call the show?
Yes. Once I get home and I get everything set up, people could call me this weekend. We can do a call-in test right this weekend. They could call my cell phone. And they can chat to us right on here.
And you can call someone and
patch
them in, put them online?
And even you can call me through Facebook Messenger, Skype, whatever. So as we evolve, we've been doing this, it's pretty much a year now. On November will be a year. As we evolve, we need better equipment. Yes, it costs money, but hopefully we make money off it. So I got my new equipment, and it's portable. So when I go to races, I'll be able to set up and do what we're doing now and what I plan on doing this weekend. So that's always good. Thank you. You bought this stuff for me. But
what else? That's it?
No, we got microphones. I got to change out those 2 other microphones. I don't like them. You got to get some dynamic mics.
Well, what else can you do with this?
Well,
Plan. What else is next level? You gonna do video?
yeah. Well, that's the plan. You're coming on to the DR in Christmas time to hang out for 3 weeks. We're gonna set up the studio and try and do video.
We can do a Joe Rogan podcast.
We'll try. You know, you get the OBS software and you do guests, so they have their camera on, you have their camera on.
Basically, to me, it sounds like we're gonna need a new JQ team manager. You're going all Joe Rogan on me here.
No, I'm still JQ. I'll still be around.
You'll still be around?
I'm still here. So that's your rant about this?
Yeah, because, I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's pretty spiffy. I did not break it either.
Yeah, you got one, you broke the first one
they knew
within
it was a
2
problem.
minutes.
They knew.
You got another one, and now, like 2-3 days, you've just been nerding out here.
All right, well, let's talk about something that you did mention that I think we should touch on. And it was about people's reluctance for change of format.
To the podcast?
No, to racing.
To racing?
Yeah. Because I know you wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, I did.
You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
So explain yourself.
Well, okay, let's take the JBRL, for example. We did that, 160 entries. You race one class. There's no controlled practice or anything. If you want, you can show up, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., do a few runs with a ton of cars on the track, truggies going backwards, you name it. So that's not very good. Then you get 2 qualifiers and a main, 15-minute main at that. And you spend all day at the track. Now, I don't know about you, but I think there are better ways to go racing than that. Too much time spent at the track, not enough time racing. So, then when there are some people that try and do different formats, for example, OCRC, they have a new format that they're trying out where qualifying, instead of just having 2 qualifiers and a main, they do 1 qualifier and 2 mains, so more heads-up racing. And the qualifying doesn't count your whole run. It's just your 5 best laps added together and averaged out. So your average best 5 laps within that run. So let's say you do 15 laps in the run, only 5 of them matter. And people just trying it out, like, is this better? Can we make racing more fun? Can we have more heads-up racing this way? And people are just so reluctant to change. Some people getting mad and not wanting to race that way, and it's just strange to me, because a lot of people complain about how the situation is now. Then when you try something new, they complain that it's different. I don't get it. If you're really happy with how things are, don't complain. If you complain, then accept trying new and different things. Maybe everything isn't perfect, but at least you're trying something new, and then you'll figure out what format actually works. Because I think the way we race now isn't helping the hobby grow. Because like the JBRL, maybe it's fun when you first start out, but it's not going to be fun forever. Especially if you go somewhere where you get more track time, it's more fun. Then you go back to a JBRL, for example, and you realize that. You're like, it's a waste of my day.
If you would have won, would it have been a waste of your day?
Yes, it would have been a waste of my day until that 15-minute main.
Well, I enjoyed my time there. It's my first time ever going to one. They actually got through it in a day. It was a good bit of entries. You have a lot of classes.
I think that we just need to change up the format a bit.
Well, I know a lot more people really like the RCGP format, and I've gotten messages from people who are like, we're going to try this heads-up racing. And it's affecting. People are starting to see, and they like it. Obviously, the Reedy race does it. But I definitely am all about changing up something. I mean, the guy at who's doing the Blue Mountain Nationals in Virginia next month, he's doing even a whole different type of qualifying, where you do 1 qualifier, when you win that, you're directly to the main. And you don't have to qualify anymore. You can go race your qualifier if you want, But somehow he explained it on the podcast. I would have to go back and listen to it.
Yeah, I just think it's time to try something new. Try some different things. And I think it would be better for the hobby overall. Also, if you want to have all different classes, then maybe stagger them somehow. So because we just went to the JBRL, and let's use that as an example. So why not do it so that if you have 1 million different classes, run some of the classes morning to like 1 p.m. and then the other classes 1 p.m. to the evening. So you have two sets. So you don't have to be there all day if you don't want to. If you want to run one of the classes that's run in the morning, you run that. And then you go home or do something else. Or if you want to run both, you can. But then it's a choice. The way it's now is we force everyone to be at the track all day long, and they don't get that much track time, and they get even less track time that's actually fun, that's different from them practicing alone, time that they're actually racing another car on the track. So I think those two, if we want to get more people involved in racing, we need to change those two things. We need to make it so people don't have to spend so many hours at the track to go racing. So they don't have to get there at 7 a.m. and leave at 11 p.m. You really have to be crazy about this to do that. And the second thing, we need to give them more enjoyment. So while they are at the track, yes, they practice a bit, they qualify a bit, but then they're racing other cars. That's why they're there. That's what's fun. So I think those two things should be our focus, and it's completely possible to do. But my sort of rant portion is, then when people start trying to do it, there's so much resistance. And I think that's stupid. Just try out the different formats, give feedback, figure out what's better. Because obviously what we're doing now isn't really, it's not really working, is it? The biggest class is 40 plus. The biggest class should be rookie and junior, new kids.
Mm-hmm.
We should, when we go to a race, there should be more kids than anything. It's RC cars. Think about it. People call them toy cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 40 plus is the biggest class. Something's wrong.
I think people call them toy cars when they're losing. Most definitely, people would argue and say that 40 plus, they have the disposable income and that kids don't want to race RC cars, or parents.
If I was a kid, I wouldn't want to race RC cars. I want to go there at 7 a.m. and be back at 11, drive 3 times. I'd be bored out of my mind. Seriously.
Well, I think I think with the race coming up this weekend, people will be shown something a little bit different. It's not the only race where you race one class. Well, actually, nationals you can run truggy and buggy, but I think people have forgotten that back in the day you only ran nitro buggy, or gas truck. No sportsman, no, and I don't want to see. I don't think sportsman or open is going to go anywhere, and I'm to the point now. I don't even think it should go anywhere. Sometimes I think, but we need more races like this, where everybody is on the, it doesn't matter where you finish is where you finish, but you still get quality track time.
Yeah, the only way to do it, to give people quality track time for the time they're at the track, is if you have those many classes, is to stagger them. So you break up the day into 2 halves, for example. You deal with one set, then you deal with the other set. That's the only way I see it working out.
Yeah, I don't know, but then again, the issue is that everybody wants a trophy.
Yeah, that's why there are so many classes. But then run certain classes the first half of the day and the other classes the second half. Then you're not forcing people to spend all day at the track. Then they're done quicker, and I think that would be way better. Yeah,
to be fair, we got they ran a good program Saturday. We was out of there at 9? Before 9. We was done before 9.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 9 probably.
But sometimes you just have to show people. So far, me talking to people and, you talking to people seem to be excited about what's going to happen this weekend at RCGP. I think we're going to get a lot of people coming by to watch, hang out, which will be good. It's going to be a show that I know I'm going off on a tangent, but I can see how much, like, I can, now that I'm here and watching you guys, and I can see how much work goes into this. And we're not even halfway. I mean, like, it's Wednesday now, and Matt and these guys just showed up. Well, they showed up last night, and they're putting up their scaffolding and finding the best place to put cameras, and all the banners are up. The track looks beautiful. Now it's still not finished. We got to clean up everything and get ready because people's going to start checking in tomorrow. It's a lot of work going into this for presentation-wise. I mean, I was joking with you about your damn signs that we spent 3 hours in Home Depot trying to figure out how to make, and then you walked around, I need some string. We need string. Right?
Are you traumatized going to Home Depot with me?
Yeah, that won't be happening again.
Well, it was good. We got everything we needed.
Yeah, but I mean, it takes that eye for detail to get it right. Where I might think, oh, that's fine. You and your little autistic brain is saying, oh, that's nothing against autistic kids, but we're just having this discussion, and Joseph, people believe he's autistic somehow. I don't know. I think he just got hit in the head with a hockey puck or something happened to him. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe got hit in the head by a violin.
I mean, I was a goalie, so.
Yeah. Maybe one too many hockey pucks to the forehead. You should wear helmets when you do that stuff.
I did, of course.
Yeah, I don't think so. Hard head makes for soft ass, as my mom used to say. So, but those attention to details I would miss, and that's something that you're really good at. But then you let something completely big and crazy go slide, and I'm just like...
Like what?
I don't know. I can't think of an example.
Actually, we have
now.
a new feature.
What's that?
We have a new feature at this race that I don't think I've ever seen. It's a secret.
Do I even know about it?
Yeah, you know about it.
I do.
It's over there on the right-hand side of the track.
Oh, gosh.
You know that the big thing we had to install?
The thing we spent 3 hours in Home Depot, that's a big secret?
Yeah, one of the things, yeah.
You're so proud of that, aren't you?
I think it's cool. And I don't know, have we had that before? Maybe.
Thank God for Mike
Can't
Hill.
remember.
Mike Hill had to take the drill out of your hand and do all that for you.
What did he do?
He drilled all the holes and helped you all that. But,
No, he didn't.
Whose idea was it to put that?
He cut the gate. That's what he did.
Yeah. You would have broke that guy's grinder if you tried to do that.
Yeah, or something even worse.
Yeah, you shouldn't handle power tools.
Why?
You better just stick to Dremels.
Pretty good with my Dremel.
That's about it. Don't pick up no grinders, skill saws, jigsaws, on any of that stuff. You might lose a limb.
Okay. I need all my fingers.
Yeah, I think you do. But the track looks awesome, everybody. Let us know what you think about format change. I know we're kind of working and doing these podcasts, so it's kind of, a little bit on and off. But stay tuned this weekend because we're going to be bringing a lot of podcasting. I'm going to be doing a lot of Facebook Lives. Remember, coverage starts on Saturday. I'll probably do some stuff on Friday, Facebook Lives, etc., some interviews. Anything else you want to add before we sign off here, Joseph?
No, that's it. I hope with this new equipment, you can really go next level.
Well, we're going to. And we need to figure out the call-in thing. That would be cool. Maybe we just take a time a week and say, okay, we're open for phone calls and people call us.
Yeah, why not?
And see what happens. Well, maybe we'll get it done when you come down to the DR.
Yeah, we can try something.
Yeah. So we're definitely looking at improving the podcast for 2020. Like I said, this is turning into more of a full-time job every day, but I enjoy it, and I enjoy the support from all the No Name RC podcast listeners. Make sure if you listen to this podcast, please tune into the RCGP coverage. Share it. It's going to be good. This is going to be the biggest and baddest RCGP race so far. Even Joseph's super excited. Like, he's smiling all the time and is going up in the driver's stand and looking at his, like, this is my masterpiece.
Yeah, Anthony built it.
Yeah.
Was it factory tracks?
Factory tracks.
With my iron fist rule.
Yeah.
Under my iron fist. How do you say?
Under your iron fist. Well, you almost got kicked out the first day.
Yeah, but it was worth it.
But Andrew's put in a good work. Andrew Trotter, the owner, done a lot of good work. He's still out there. He's out there watering it now. And he's a good guy. And thank God he didn't kick you out the first day.
Yeah.
Thank God. All right. So I'm going to say thank you.
Yeah. He's not a snowflake like some people.
I think, good. It's like like a bull and a sheep. You're the sheep and he's the bull.
What?
Yeah.
No. He's just not a snowflake.
I know, but you like we're button heads.
Like some people we know there from earlier races.
You know what? I wonder if Rupert Pumpernickels is going to show up this weekend.
Why is that? Who's that?
You know, you said if Canas doesn't reel it in, you're going to take it into your own hands again this weekend.
I will. I already picked out a spot.
That's not good.
Oh, it will be good. It will be a good highlight.
You should get dock points.
Should talk to Mao about that.
I am. You'll be here today. We're definitely going to get you. I'll give you a penalty. I think you deserve it.
I don't think so. I think I did the world a favor.
Well, people did like it.
Yeah.
So that's good stuff. All right. Well, let you get back to work. You got to go level off your banners or some crazy stuff like that. I want to thank all of the No Name RC podcast listeners for joining in. Thank you to Matt Wolter for joining us on the Euro RC main interview. Joseph, any last words before we go?
Don't believe the hype. E-buggies don't pay the bills. I've had to pay the bills. But it's enough now. Going next level, getting your own source of income.
No, I'm gonna have
You're
to
becoming Joe
I'm gonna
Rogan.
have to get some software here soon. And Stefan.
I need to pay more.
And Stefan, you heard
Why
Stefan?
don't you sell some e-cards?
Didn't you heard? You heard?
Live up to the slogan.
You heard
created.
Stefan,
Can
right?
you live up to the slogan you created?
You heard Stefan. He said he needs a new computer. That thing's old. You heard that?
I heard it.
That's your tech guy.
Yeah. Didn't you just get this?
Yeah, but it's a refurbished 1999 HP.
Why? Why didn't you get a new one?
Because you gave me a budget.
Oh my God. Let's just get Stefan to help you. Stefan can pick something good, and you get it.
It would be
one time.
It would
one
be
and done.
It'd be wise to get it while I'm here.
Well, try and sell some e-buggies. Anyone out there that wants some JQ Racing Black Edition e-buggies? I hear it's really good.
It is.
Yeah.
And silly
Contact
season's
Lefty.
coming up.
Contact Lefty. He has a discount code because he's desperate for a new laptop. Okay?
Hey, well, JB wants to start a GoFundMe to get my arm fixed.
Well, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
We should do it. When we're in the DR, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
We're going to start. See, Lefty's lefty because his left arm doesn't really work. But it's fixable. Just costs $5,000.
Well, probably more than that.
Well, how much?
I don't know. We have to go see the doctors and find out.
Okay, let's find out how much money it is.
I adapt. I worked on a whole job for 3 months in London without my manager. I was shoveling, lifting everything. It took him 3 months to realize I had a problem with my arm. And someone had to tell him. Someone had to tell him when I was tunneling in London.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, what's this ahead of your arm's messed up?" I said, "Yeah, I got paralyzed. I had a bike accident." "Oh, man, bloody hell. Don't be doing all this shoveling and stuff like that. Get somebody else to do that." I was like, "No, I don't want no favoritism. Don't worry about it, lad. Just don't take it easy." That was my failed attempt at an Irish accent.
Yeah.
All right.
We can figure that out.
All right. Don't listen to JQ. We're not starting a GoFund to fix my arm.
But we'll do something else. We'll raise the money.
I don't know.
Get podcast sponsors.
Yeah. All right. Well,
We'll have a segment. Oh, God. I know. The call-in segment will be the Get Lefty a Left Arm segment. Sponsored by your left arm.
I'm glad you make fun of my disability, my self-inflicted disability.
Yeah. I think that would be good. It's like creating awareness, and then we have a place where people.
You know
can,
who I got to get on
donate.
this podcast? I really have to get Barry Baker on this podcast.
Yeah, he'd be good.
He was so funny the other day. It's so good to see.
I don't know if he'd be as savage on the podcast as he is in real life.
He's definitely savage. I thought the Ghani was savage, but Baker's definitely savage.
Yeah. I'm just afraid that he'd be too PC. He's with TLR now. You know they have rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
They used to have this sticker they put on their toolbox with rules. Thou shalt not do this. Thou shalt do that.
They didn't say
all
that.
these, yes, all these rules. Like you have to wear this shirt and this logo and do that. And because they have all those rules, then I think he'll be too PC. Like if you go on podcast, thou shalt not tell the truth. You know, you see what I mean? he will just be the thou shalt be 100% PC.
No, you can't make Barry Baker be PC.
Yeah, maybe it could be interesting.
It was
maybe give him a couple of drinks, then do the podcast. Might be good. Might be gold.
I just love when I see him, Saxton, Degani, and all those guys get together. Like the mind games they're all trying to play on themselves. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's like, honestly, it's like they just pick up where they left off from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It should be good. Degani's getting all serious, getting all ready for, Tuesday.
Okay. You know what I need?
What do you need?
I need a, what is it called? A sound drop.
Of what?
I don't know. Of something. Use your new tool.
All right.
Play a good sound drop.
Okay. 1 second.
This is the ridiculous one, Jay Smoker, and you're listening to the No Name RC podcast. Ridiculous! Woo!
Smoker will be here. He says he's going to
You
be
should do one with him too.
Well, he wants. I said podcast number 69. He's like, yes, ridiculous.
Okay. So you record it now and then release it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll be talking to Smoker, within the. Oh, you know what we forgot to talk about?
What?
Your living situation.
Oh God, let's do that next time.
Oh, and also, you know what? I have a rant. I washed your damn dirty clothes yesterday.
Yeah.
I'd never in my life have washed another man's clothes.
Well, now you have.
And I will never, ever do that again.
Why? You might wash my clothes again.
No. I go to the laundromat. He goes, take my clothes and wash it. I was like, what?
Yeah, you were going. I was busy.
What?
What's so crazy about that?
I'm not your girlfriend.
So, the closest thing to it.
No, I am not.
Yeah.
No, I am not. The guy's got me washing his dirty drawers.
So, what's the big deal?
Well, go wash my clothes next time.
You know what's worse? Washing your armpit.
You haven't done that yet. Because of my left arm, I can't reach my armpit. So.
Yeah, that's worse.
Yeah, well, see, making fun of my disability once again.
Yeah, all the more reason we need to get that money so you can get it fixed.
You evil bastard.
Well, I think we can get it fixed. What is it now, 2019? Probably at least have the money by the end of next year.
Hey, I've been working around this and adapting since 2005, buddy.
Okay, so before 2025, we definitely have to fix it. So it's not 20 years.
All right. Well, you get out there and get back to working on the track. I want to say thank you to our sponsors.
Okay, I'm definitely leaving then.
Yes. Goodbye.
Bye.
RCMX Online, Euro RC, Just RC, No Bullshit, Assault RC that sponsors the Invisible Speed segment. Thank you to BK Servos. Thank you to Bipolar Designs, Jason Darlin. He will be here at the race this coming weekend. My buddy Clint Treadway in Texas, 454 RC Works. Also, shout out to Papa Willie's Traction Tonic. Techno RC for sponsoring the Grassroots Racer Spotlight. And, of course, we cannot forget JQ Racing, or JQ himself, a.k.a. Rupert Pumpernickels. I think we need to change it to RP Racing. RP Racing. Rupert Pumpernickels Racing. Thank you to all of our supporters. We will be, hopefully, I'll get back in time so we can do a podcast next week, but we will be doing a few podcasts this weekend. Actually, we're doing a lot of podcasts this weekend, so stay tuned. Share the live feeds. Share all the live feeds from RCGP. Let us know what you think. And, hey, man, remember, Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. If you ain't grinding and sliding, and if you ain't having fun, it don't make sense. Lefty, out.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. Please tune in next time for more fresh RC content. And if you can, please also support us on patreon.com/thequagrain. We will greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, Nitro is the glory.